So when we're asked, okay, Don, you tell us the annual performance review is dead. What are we supposed to replace it with? What do we do next? First of all, you want to separate the notion of giving a raise from this performance review process. I'm not saying don't include performance in your evaluation of whether or not someone should get a raise, but you need to separate the events. That's going to make the performance review process much safer for the employee, and you're going to get a much more honest level of engagement from the employee when they're not sitting on the precipice of whether or not I get a raise out of this. Secondly, we say need to do it monthly. Most managers scream and holler at that. I don't have time. Here's the best practice as we see it today. Employees need to have an action plan. Every employee in the organization should have their own action plan that they're acting on, that they're responsible for. That very act in itself increases an employee's sense of autonomy and empowerment, which increases engagement. So when they come in to meet with their manager, the manager just gets, the process takes 30 minutes. And I say, Don, how'd you do on your plan last month? And Don tells me how he thinks he did on his plan. I then offer course corrections where I think he may have been aspirational in his evaluation, and other things. We might add something to the plan. Maybe he has achieved some things and we take them off the plan. It's a very live animal. Then at the end of that 30 minutes, in the last, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the manager turns to the employee and says, what do you need from me over the next 30 days? What can I do for you during the next month to help you execute more progress on your plan? The manager becomes a coach, almost a servant to the employee's success in the organization. That sense of empowerment, autonomy for the employee, that more regular and honest and authentic feedback from management to the employee more frequently actually increases the credibility of the process. We know, the research shows us that the annual performance review process is corrupt. One example of that, if I hired you and I'm the person that does the annual review for you, we know that my review is going to be skewed 15–20% more positively just because I hired you. It's not an objective process. We know that it is not. It's corrupt, it doesn't work, and it needs to be fixed and replaced with something that's more authentic, that is more helpful and real. Now, one last thing I would tell you, this isn't our issue, but labor lawyers will tell you that the annual performance review process is actually a form of legal malpractice to you. You hire an employee, you're very aspirational about them, and they get their first review, it's positive, the second review, it's positive, the third review, you're saying lots of opportunity for progress, but about the fifth year in, you figure out that this employee is not a good fit, and that fifth or sixth annual review is just devastating to them. And then they're fired 3 months later. They take the first 4 positives, they go into court suing you for wrongful termination, and 95% of the time they win because they've got 5 positives and then all of a sudden out of the blue 1 negative, which makes it look political, not objective. It really isn't a good practice, and it needs to be replaced with something that's better.